Hey kids, JD here. Unfortunately, due to some bathroom-related incidents, I really haven't been able to get up on the hill today like I planned, but it happens sometimes. Today I want to talk about two things. One will be easy, one won't. Maybe we'll make this two videos. And I don't know exactly how to go about doing it. And it's also like 7 in the morning, and all the neighbors are sleeping, so we want to keep the volume down. So if it's a little low, if it's a little slow, that's probably okay. These YouTube experts like to talk about authenticity. But what is authenticity? How does one figure out what authenticity is? There was an article on Polygon, which isn't the greatest source for anything, but covered a few prominent YouTubers who were burning out. And one of the things that they talk about, in a sense, is the fact that when you read between the lines, that these guys have to put a facade on and keep putting videos out. Especially if you read one of the videos that's linked on the inside, or read one of the articles on the inside that's linked. It talks about having to put a persona on when you're not feeling it. And the thing is, if these are the top guys and they have to put this persona on, even if it's only sometimes, what does that tell you about authenticity? Is there authenticity? What does it mean? It's just a word. It's supposed to mean what you really are. But let's be honest. When you look at the advice of some of these YouTube experts, they don't tell you to be you. This goes along with what I said last week about content charisma. Charisma is the problem. And how does one become charismatic? That's an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, there are clues out there. For example, there was a TED Talk given, and I'll see if I can find the link, put it in. Okay, so you're talking so people want to listen. You need to, first of all, utilize a low voice like the politicians do. How do you do that? Well, go ahead and hum to yourself, anything you want to. And then start talking. See, what happens is you start to develop chest voice. And this is considered to be authoritative, which is why all politicians do it. And now I find myself doing it. Rather than doing this, I'm doing this. Vary your delivery, vary your pace, do that, and it keeps people interested. And end sentences definitively, which, if you notice, is the one talent that I really truly do have, which is sounding absolutely positive about everything, even if I'm not entirely. Just doing that would improve your performance, but they really don't talk about things like that. I think one of them spoke once about using kind of a higher, faster paced delivery. Well, yeah, except science doesn't show that's what people actually do. People actually respond differently than that. Oops. Boing, 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 boing. What other things help? Well, things like posture help, your nonverbal communication, how you look, how you talk to people. There's a lot of factors that go into charisma. It's not a simple thing, but it's definitely not sitting there and sounding like you're reading off of a card. And charisma is a thing that's difficult to quantify because there are people out there who, you might find boring and slow, but other people find soothing. The timbre of their voice interesting. So people will tune in just to hear that. So charisma is a difficult thing. But when you talk about authenticity, the thing is, if you're a person that doesn't have much charisma, what they actually are telling you to do is to get some. But how? Well, there's a couple of things that perhaps might help, but it never comes from these guys. Number one, there's a guy on Twitch called Dr. Disrespect. I know a lot of people aren't into Twitch, and that's fine. But basically he's a game streamer. He's one of the more popular game streamers there. He has this persona. Basically what he is he's kind of a parody of how some gamers act about themselves and the way they portray themselves. He said something interesting, which was, there's a guy that you are, or in this case gal, but he's referring to a guy. There's a guy, literally because his real name is Guy, so there you go. But there's a guy that you are when you think that you're all alone. And what you have to do is you have to find that guy. The guy that does ridiculous things when nobody's around. And then you have to work on that guy. Which is why recently I've been making more video. Well, partially because I don't want to disturb people, but partially videos by myself, because then I don't have to worry about somebody else necessarily. So start on this and then kind of build out from there. So I'm working on me too, just like you are. Why didn't the YouTube experts give us that information? There's another guy, his name is Boogie, and he's got a bunch of numbers. I don't know what it is. Boogie 8675309. Anyway, Boogie said, you know what the thing to do is? Just make videos every day. Doesn't matter whether it's good, whether it's not good, whatever. You need to get used to being in front of the camera, and you know, hopefully if you put enough out there, people will start to pick up on it. You know, but you can make, and YouTube is littered with videos, masterpieces, that a person made exactly one and nobody ever watched it. Well, what do you do then? Who knows? So his is kind of the opposite. You know, those are two things, but why isn't there more? You know, these guys are supposed to be able to help you with your business. And again, is this what the hamster wheel is about? Where they can point people to get cameras, to get SEO tools, they can point people to do lighting, they can point people to get teleprompters, they can do all this stuff, but what they cannot do is teach you how to be comfortable in front of a camera and teach you how to speak, especially since a lot of people on the internet are introverts. You know, it's kind of counterintuitive, really, that a place that's so full of people that aren't good with people have people trying to act like they're good with people. I mean, that sentence doesn't make any sense, and neither does kind of the quest here. And maybe that's one of the difference between the people that are successful, is they kind of tend to be gregarious by nature. I don't know. Why don't these experts ever come out and say this stuff? Like I said, is it the hamster wheel? Is this some kind of almost cosmic shit test where you're supposed to, you know, they're just feeding you a bunch of nonsense and you're supposed to see through it and go on? Is this, you know, I don't know. Maybe you know. And if you know, why don't you go ahead, leave some comments below. I'm JD. It's a beautiful morning. Wherever you are, hope you enjoy your day, and we'll talk to you again.